we passed a few years ago something that was meant to get rural broadband into thousands of people's homes. And initially, it was given to SpaceX and Starlink specifically. And then I think it was pulled back. And they said, you know what, there's a better, quote unquote, better way to do it. And there's other folks that decided that the better option would just be to like lay fiber. Now, I'm just going to, this is not a judgment. I'm just going to show you something. The thing is, like, if you were like in Kansas from here, okay, between here and Kansas is like a big distance, right? It's like this. When you're in orbit, it's just here.
Right.
It's just infinitely shorter distance. So just at a practical level, solving that problem technically is way better through satellites. Fine. They make, I think, what was the right decision? They unmake it. And so they say, we're going to go and figure out a way to lay fiber, whatever. They've laid zero fiber. So there's these thousands of people that were promised broadband that you can get for basically $1,000 or $100 a month or less now. And instead they're spending upwards of thousands and thousands per home and haven't delivered any.
Isn't it like $42 billion?
That's 42.
Yeah.
And then the other example was a $7 billion program to install EV chargers. $7 billion. And they've managed to install 3. So all I'm saying is, if you add the two together, that $50 billion, that's 1/6 of what Bobby Kennedy was talking about in terms of giving people organic food. So maybe we can't give everybody organic food, but you can get tens of millions of people, right? Start with the 40 million people that's on SNAP. You can get maybe 10 million of those people, get them organic food right away. So there's all of this waste.
Yeah.
All we got to do is just like focus a little bit, take some of these dollars that are just like falling into the seat cushions, it seems like, and just reallocate it somewhat intelligently into the things that really matter.
It seems worse than falling into the seat cushions if it's 42 billion people and none of them have received internet access. That's
$42
really
billion
insane.
Nobody's got that.
I should say I used the Starlink Mini this past week in Utah in the mountains. It's amazing.
It's amazing.
It's the size of this book.
It's amazing.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It literally fits in a small laptop case. My friend couldn't believe that was it. I was like, this is it. All we have to do is plug it in.
I got a very early one, and I used to carry it around in a laundry basket. It was incredible. And then when you see what they've done in a couple of years from this thing that was a little bit bulky, it is so beautiful and simple. And, you know, you've seen it. Yeah. You just plug it in, and it auto starts to rotate, figures out where it is.
Yep.
The app comes up. It shows you this, you know, speed, and then you're just going. And I've used it in all kinds of situations, like where, you know, I'm traveling, I bring it with me. It's never failed. And then I think, man, this is like, it's $100. It's less than $100.
It's crazy.
And then, you know, in a year or two, you'll be able to run your cell phone over this thing.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Yeah, in a year or two, it'll probably be straight to your cell phone, and you won't need that dish anymore. But right now, the dish is a small iPad, and you just sit it down in a field, and we plugged a cord to it. And you don't even have to have a cord. It is a battery that comes with it.
So how much do you think it really takes to give every American just a Starlink dish?
Pretty fucking cheap.
It's very cheap.
It wouldn't be $42 billion. I can guarantee you that.
And by the way, the cost of that would basically fall through the floor if you put in an order for 50 million of these units.
Right.
You know?
Right.
SpaceX would make them for like $8.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
and it's fast internet too, which is even crazier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's all of this stuff that we should do. We just need a few folks, I don't know, that can either course correct or just can shine a light on it. I mean, it's like this thing where I'm like so optimistic, married to enormous fear, and like, you know, just like a little, I kind of go back and forth between these things.
Well, let me paint the ultimate dystopian solution.
The truth is, behind closed doors, the P word became my secret sin at age 10.
Married to enormous fear, and like, you know, just like a little, I kind of go back and forth between these things.
Well, let me paint the ultimate dystopian solution. The ultimate dystopia. Well, part of our problem is we have corruption. We have what you were talking about with deals, sort of like the border wall deal had money in it for Ukraine. Like there's all these weird deals. There's bills that don't make any sense. Like how did you add all this stuff? And why is this 2,000 pages? How many people signed it? Actually read it? AI government. AI government solves all those problems. AI government is not corrupt. AI government, it just works literally for the people. And instead of having all these state representatives and all these bullshit artists that pretend to be working on their truck and they don't know what the fuck they're doing, they're just doing it for an ad, you don't have any of that anymore. Now everything's governed with AI. The problem is who's controlling the AI? And is there some sort of an ultimate regulatory body that makes sure that the AI isn't biased or tainted?
I think there's a step before that, which is a lot more palatable. I think the thing I've thought about your version, and the problem that you state is the key problem, which is how is this model trained?
Right.
Who got their hands on that core stuff, the weights and the values of that? Who decides?
Right.
And at some point, there is already today in AI models a level of human override. It's just a natural facet of how these things are. There's a way to reinforce the learning based on what you say and what I say. It's a key part of how an AI model becomes smart. It starts off as primordial, and then Joe and Chamath and all these other people are clicking and saying, yes, that's a good answer, bad answer, ask this question, all this stuff. Well, who are those people? So,
right, and it could be gamed as well, right? Like you could organize.
I think at scale, we haven't seen it yet, but it will be when the incentives are that high.
And we've seen distortions, right? Like the Gemini AI they were asked to make Nazi soldiers. So they made these multiracial Nazi soldiers. And that kind of stuff, where it's just like, who are the founding fathers? And it's, here's a black guy.
Right.
Here's a Chinese lady. Like, okay, we get it. You're not racist. But this is, you're being crazy.
Well, you're distorting the past.
Right, exactly. When you're talking specifically history. I mean, one of them was like a Native American woman was a Nazi soldier. It's like, this is so nuts.
Right.
So that is a problem is in that AI is not clean. Right, it's got the greasy fingerprints of modern civilization on it and all of our bizarre ideologies.
But there's a step before it that I think can create a much better government. So it's possible today, for example, to understand. Have you ever done a renovation on your house?
Yes. Okay,
so you make plans. You go and, your architect probably pays an expediter to stand in line in City Hall. There's a person that goes and reviews that plan. They give you a bunch of handwritten markups